Have you ever wondered what life after 80 feels like? Not the glossy version, but the raw, unspoken truth. It's a chapter where the world grows quieter, connections fade, and your own body can feel like a stranger. Yet amidst these challenges lies the power to redefine your purpose and reclaim your place. In this video, we uncover 5 shocking realities every senior must know about aging loneliness. Truths that hit hard but open doors to resilience and hope. Stay until the end to discover how you can transform these challenges into a life of courage, connection, and meaning. Because your story is far from over, and this video will show you how to write its next chapter with strength. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. 1. Your social circle vanishes without warning. Imagine waking up one morning to a stillness that feels unnatural. Not the quiet of a peaceful dawn, but the absence of the voices, laughter, and familiar faces that once defined your days. Your phone, once alive with texts, calls, and invitations to barbecues or card games, now sits silent, gathering dust on the counter. Friends you shared decades with pass away, their absence leaving gaps that no one else seems to fill. Neighbors who waved from their porches pack up and move, chasing warmer climates or assisted living. Even family, caught in the whirlwind of their own lives, visit less often, their calls growing shorter and more perfunctory. It's not that people stop caring. It's that time, like a slow-moving tide, erodes the connections you once took for granted, leaving you in a world that feels hollowed out, quieter than you ever imagined. Consider Walter, 84. A retired school teacher who used to be the life of his local coffee shop in a small Ohio town. Every Saturday, he'd sit at the center of a bustling table, trading stories with friends about their fishing trips or grandkids' antics. Over the years, though, that table grew emptier. One friend passed from a sudden heart attack. Another moved to be closer to family in Florida. Others, too frail to drive or navigate icy sidewalks, simply stopped coming. It's strange, Walter reflected, his voice soft but steady, to be the man in the corner booth when you used to be the heart of the table. The loneliness doesn't arrive with dramatic fanfare. It creeps in during long evenings spent with only the hum of the television for company, or when you realize the last time someone called just to chat was weeks ago. It's a quiet ache, a weight that settles in your chest, making even the simplest moments feel heavy. This loss of connection can feel like a betrayal, not by others, but by life itself. The vibrant social tapestry you wove over decades, through shared meals, late-night conversations, or impromptu gatherings, unravels, and the isolation can be disorienting. Studies show that loneliness in older adults is linked to higher risks of depression, cognitive decline, and even physical health issues like heart disease. Yet the solution isn't as simple as making new friends. After 80, mobility constraints, health challenges, or the sheer emotional weight of starting over can make reaching out feel daunting. What you can do: don't wait for connection to find you. Actively seek it out, even when it feels like a leap. Join a local senior center where you might find a knitting circle, a chess club, or a group of folks who share your love for old jazz records. Start a book club at the library, inviting neighbors or acquaintances to discuss a favorite novel over coffee. Write a letter or send an email to an old friend, rekindling a bond with shared memories. Technology can be a lifeline. Learn to use video calls to see your grandchildren's faces, or join online forums for hobbies like gardening or history. If mobility is an issue, ask a family member or neighbor to help you get to a community event. Courage in this chapter of life isn't just surviving the quiet. It's seeking out voices, however small or new, to fill the silence. Each step toward connection, no matter how tentative, is a victory over isolation. 2. Your body betrays you overnight. After 80, your body becomes an unpredictable companion, no longer the reliable partner it once was. The changes don't announce themselves gradually. They can strike overnight, transforming the familiar terrain of your physical self into something foreign. A short walk to the mailbox leaves you winded. A minor stumble while stepping off a curb steals weeks of strength. A lingering cough, once brushed off as a nuisance, sends you to a doctor's office for a battery of tests, each result a reminder of your fragility. The hardest part isn't just the physical decline, it's the unpredictability. You can eat a balanced diet, walk daily, and follow every doctor's order, yet still wake up to a body that seems to have rewritten its rules without consulting you. Take Gloria, 81, a lifelong gardener whose backyard in Vermont was her sanctuary. She spent decades tending roses, coaxing tomatoes to ripen, and planting tulips that bloomed each spring like a promise. One crisp autumn day, while pruning her roses, she lost her balance and fell. Not a dramatic tumble, but enough to bruise her hip and shake her confidence. It wasn't the fall that hurt the most, she shared, her eyes tracing the memory. It was realizing my body didn't bounce back. It just kept slowing down. Recovery, once a matter of days, now stretched into months. Stairs became a negotiation, and her garden, once a source of joy, felt like a taunting reminder of what she could no longer do with ease. For many over 80, this is the reality. A body that demands new terms, where rest can feel like a one-way ticket to further decline, and even small injuries carry outsized consequences. The physical challenges compound because they're not just about the body. They affect your sense of self. You mourn the person who could climb a ladder to clean the gutters or dance at a wedding without a second thought. Chronic conditions like arthritis, heart disease, or vision loss, which affect over 60% of adults over 80, according to the CDC, add layers of complexity. Even routine tasks, buttoning a shirt, reading the fine print on a prescription, or carrying a bag of groceries, can become Herculean efforts. Yet the alternative, giving in to immobility, risks accelerating decline, as muscle loss and reduced activity can spiral into greater frailty. What you can do, treat your body not as an adversary, but as a trusted friend who needs care and understanding. Pace yourself with intention. Short walks around the block, gentle chair yoga or stretching exercises can maintain mobility without overwhelming you. Consult a physical therapist for tailored movements that strengthen your core or improve balance. Small investments that pay dividends in independence. Nutrition matters more than ever. Focus on protein-rich foods to preserve muscle and stay hydrated to support energy. If pain or fatigue feels isolating, a warm cup of tea or a moment of mindfulness can soothe both body and soul. Above all, honor your limits rather than fighting them. Adapting, whether by using a cane, scheduling rest breaks, or asking for help with heavy tasks, isn't defeat. It's a strategy to preserve your strength for the moments that matter most. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 3. Asking for help feels like losing yourself. For decades, you were the pillar others leaned on, the one who fixed leaky faucets, drove kids to soccer practice, or stayed up late helping a friend through a crisis. You were the problem solver, the caregiver, the rock. But after 80, the balance shifts, often without warning. Suddenly you're gripping the stair railing tightly, hesitating to drive at night or in bad weather, or struggling to reach the top shelf for a jar of jam. Tasks that once defined your competence now require a second pair of hands, and admitting you need help can feel like surrendering the independence you've fiercely guarded your entire life. It's not just about the task, it's about the identity tied to doing it yourself. Eugene, 85, embodies this struggle, a former carpenter who built his shed and raised 4 children in a bustling Chicago suburb. He prided himself on his self-reliance. When he slipped on a patch of ice one winter, he brushed it off, too proud to tell anyone. For weeks, he limped through his days pretending nothing had changed. But the pain lingered, and simple chores like shoveling snow or carrying laundry became risky. His daughter, noticing his slower gait, started dropping off groceries every week. At first, Eugene resisted, insisting he could manage. But over time, those visits became a lifeline. Not just for the food, but for the conversations, the laughter, the reminder that he wasn't alone. "It's nice," he admitted one evening, a wry smile breaking through, "not carrying it all by myself." This shift is profoundly humbling. Asking for help can feel like a confession of failure, especially when society equates independence with worth. Yet the reality is stark. Falls are a leading cause of injury for those over 80, and nearly 30% of older adults report difficulty with daily activities, according to the National Institute on Aging. Refusing help doesn't just risk physical harm, it can deepen isolation, as pride keeps you from the very connections that sustain you. Accepting help, though, requires redefining what strength means. It's not about doing everything alone. It's about having the courage to lean on others, so you can keep living on your terms. What you can do: reframe independence as the wisdom to ask for what you need. Start small. Install grab bars in the bathroom or a shower seat to make daily routines safer. Ask a neighbor to pick up a few items from the store, or a family member to drive you to a doctor's appointment. These aren't signs of weakness. They're tools to preserve your energy and safety. Explore community resources like meal delivery programs or volunteer services that offer rides or home maintenance help. If pride feels like a barrier, think of accepting help as a gift you give to others. Your trust in them strengthens your bond. Connection, whether through a helping hand or a shared task, becomes your safety net, allowing you to navigate this chapter with dignity and grace. 4. The world stops seeing you. There's a pain that cuts deeper than any physical ailment, a wound that no bandage can soothe. The slow, insidious realization that the world no longer sees you. It's not just the creak of aging joints or the fatigue of a body that's carried you through decades. It's the quiet, piercing sting of becoming invisible in a society that prizes speed, youth, and innovation above all else. The cashier at the grocery store hurries past you, assuming your trembling hands can't keep up with the pace of the line. The doctor in the examination room directs questions to your adult child or caregiver, as if your mind, rich with a lifetime of experiences, is too frail to engage. Strangers on the street glance through you, their eyes skimming over the lines etched in your face, lines that map a life of laughter, grief, resilience, and hard-won wisdom. These moments of being overlooked aren't always born of malice. They stem from a culture so obsessed with the new and the now that it often fails to honor the depth of those who've lived long enough to see the world shift and reshape itself. Irene, 86, felt this erasure in a way that left her heart heavy. During her volunteer shifts at the local history museum, for years, she'd been a fixture there, guiding visitors through exhibits with a warmth and authenticity that only comes from lived experience. She'd recount stories from her childhood during the Great Depression, hiding under the kitchen table during air raid drills, sewing patches onto worn-out clothes, waiting for letters from her brother stationed overseas during World War II. Her tours were more than history lessons. They were personal testimonies, weaving her life into the artifacts on display. Yet one afternoon, a visitor's question about a wartime exhibit sailed over her head to a younger staff member, a college student who hadn't even been born when those events unfolded. Irene stood there, her hands clasped tightly, her expertise dismissed in a fleeting moment. "I'm used to it," she said later to a friend, her voice steady but her eyes glistening with unshed tears, betraying the hurt of being rendered invisible. That small interaction wasn't just a slight, it was a reminder that the world often overlooks the profound value of those who've lived its history. This invisibility isn't a single event. It's a series of small erosions that accumulate over time. It's the waiter who assumes you won't understand the menu's fine print, the neighbor who stops inviting you to community gatherings because they assume you're too tired, or the family member who talks about you as if you're no longer in the room. Each instance chips away at your sense of self, threatening to erase the vibrant, multifaceted person you've always been. The one who raised children, built a career, survived wars or recessions, and loved fiercely through it all. The pain of being unseen can lead to a creeping self-doubt, a fear that your worth has diminished with age. But the truth is far different. Your presence is a living archive, a repository of stories, humor, and perspective that no one else can replicate. You are not invisible. You are a force, a testament to endurance, and your life still holds immeasurable value. What you can do: refuse to let the world's oversight define your existence. Your voice, your stories, and your presence are still powerful, even if they're not always acknowledged. Reclaim your visibility through small, intentional acts that assert your place in the world. Share your experiences. Whether it's recounting a childhood memory to a grandchild, writing a memoir for your family, or speaking at a community event, your stories are not just personal. They're a bridge to history, offering lessons and inspiration to those who listen. Ask questions that challenge assumptions. Engage the doctor directly, correct the cashier kindly, or spark a conversation with a stranger at the coffee shop. Vote in every election, write letters to your local newspaper, or join a book club to remind society that your opinions and insights matter. If mobility or energy is a challenge, focus on quieter acts. A warm smile to a passerby, a phone call to a friend, or a handwritten note to a loved one. These gestures ripple outward, reasserting your presence. Build connections that honor your worth. Seek out communities, senior centers, religious groups, or online forums where your voice is valued. If you feel overlooked in a social setting, gently redirect the conversation. "I'd love to share my thoughts on that." Spoken with confidence can shift the dynamic. Practice self-affirmation by reflecting on your accomplishments, no matter how small they seem. A garden you tended, a child you raised, a kindness you extended. If your knees wobble or your voice shakes, speak up anyway. Your courage is a beacon that inspires others. You are still here, and your life is a tapestry of experiences that deserves to be seen and celebrated. Demand to be noticed, not out of pride, but because the world needs the wisdom only you can offer. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 5. Regret haunts you unless you redefine purpose. In your 80s, life slows to a gentler rhythm, offering a spaciousness that can be both a gift and a challenge. This stillness creates room for reflection, a chance to look back on a life filled with moments of joy, sorrow, triumph, and growth. But that same quiet can also open the door to a subtler, more persistent ache: regret. The what-ifs begin to surface, unbidden, in the stillness of an afternoon or the silence of a sleepless night. What if you'd taken that job across the country? What if you'd traveled to that far-off place you always dreamed of? What if you'd said, "I love you," one more time to someone who's no longer here? Without a sense of purpose to anchor you, these regrets can grow heavy, casting long shadows over the present. An empty calendar, once a symbol of freedom, can feel like a void, amplifying the sense that your best days, or your chance to make things right, are behind you. Stanley, 88, knew this weight intimately. A retired high school teacher, he'd spent decades shaping young minds, finding purpose in the daily rhythm of lesson plans, spirited debates, and the light bulb moments when a student grasped a new concept. His classroom was his stage, his purpose clear. But when retirement came, that structure vanished, and with it, his sense of being needed. "No one calls on me anymore," he confided to a friend over coffee, his voice tinged with resignation. He began to dwell on roads not taken, wondering if he should have pursued his dream of writing a novel, taken his wife on that trip to Italy, or spent more time with his children when they were young. The weight of those regrets grew heavier in the quiet moments, threatening to define his days. Then a shift happened. Stanley's great-grandchildren started visiting more often, their boundless curiosities sparking something in him. One evening, as they sat around the dining table, he began sharing stories of his youth, sneaking into jazz clubs in the 1950s, teaching during the turbulent civil rights era, meeting his wife at a dance hall and knowing in an instant that she was the one. His great-grandkids listened wide-eyed, peppering him with questions. What was it like to live without computers? Did you ever get scared? In those moments, Stanley realized he wasn't just a retired teacher. He was a living bridge to history, a storyteller whose words gave his family a sense of roots and wonder. His purpose hadn't vanished. It had transformed. Regret didn't disappear entirely, but it was softened by the meaning he found in these connections, in seeing his stories spark joy and curiosity in a new generation. Purpose in later life doesn't need to mirror the ambition of youth or the productivity of midlife. It's not about climbing corporate ladders, chasing accolades, or ticking off bucket list goals. Instead, it's about presence, showing up in ways that align with who you are and what you value, no matter how small those acts may seem. For some, purpose might mean volunteering an hour a week at a local library, teaching a child to read, or mentoring a young person in your community. For others, it could be as simple as listening deeply to a neighbor's troubles, tending a small garden, or writing letters to family members, capturing memories and lessons that will outlive you. These acts don't erase past regrets, but they reframe them, turning what-ifs into what-nows. They remind you that your life still has impact, that your presence is a gift to those around you. Consider Margaret, 82, who felt adrift after her husband passed away. She regretted not pursuing her love of painting when she was younger, consumed by the demands of raising a family. But instead of dwelling on that loss, she joined a senior art class, where she not only rediscovered her creativity, but also began teaching others how to mix colors and capture light on canvas. Her paintings, simple landscapes and portraits, became gifts for her grandchildren, each one a tangible piece of her legacy. Through these small acts, Margaret found a purpose that transformed her regret into a source of joy and connection. What you can do: redefine purpose as connection, contribution, and presence, not competition or productivity. Start by reflecting on what brings you joy or fulfillment, no matter how small: a conversation, a hobby, a memory. Ask yourself daily, how can I bring joy or meaning to someone today? The answers will guide you toward a purpose that feels authentic. If you love storytelling, share your experiences, record them for your family, join a local oral history project, or start a blog to document your insights. If you enjoy helping others, volunteer in ways that suit your energy and skills. Read to children at a library, help at a food bank, or offer your expertise to a community group. If mobility is a challenge, focus on acts of kindness from home. Write encouraging letters, call someone who might feel lonely, or share family recipes with younger generations. Embrace creative outlets to process regrets. Journaling can be a powerful way to reflect on your life, not to dwell on what's lost, but to celebrate what you've gained and still have to give. Write a letter to your younger self, forgiving past choices and honoring the strength that brought you here. Connect with others who share your experiences. Senior centers, online forums, or religious groups can offer camaraderie and a sense of belonging. If regrets feel overwhelming, talk to a trusted friend, family member, or counselor to reframe those thoughts. Each small action, a kind word, a shared story, a moment of listening, is a spark of light that pushes back against the weight of regret. Your life is still unfolding, and every day is a chance to create meaning, to turn what-ifs into moments of redemption and connection. As we wrap up, take a moment to reflect on the journey we've just explored. Life after 80 brings challenges, fading connections, a body that slows, the sting of being unseen. But it also offers a chance to choose courage, connection, and a redefined purpose. Your story is still unfolding, and every choice you make adds weight to its beauty. What struck you most today? Was it the ache of a quieter social circle, the courage to ask for help, or the power of finding new meaning? Share one thing you've learned and how you'll bring it into your life in the comments below. Your thoughts inspire us all. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content to inform and empower you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next.